Now joining us is the commissioner of the Superior International Junior Hockey League, Darrin Nicholas. Darrin, welcome to the show. And we should point out, this is your first year running the league. And do you feel like you've been thrown right into the fire?
Yeah, it's I'm not sure I would recommend taking over running a junior hockey league in a pandemic, but you can't always choose the timing. And I think if we can get through this, the rest should be a breeze.
We get to visit on a weekly basis with people right across the entire country to give us insights of where they're at, because quite frankly, regionally, there's different levels of hockey being played right now. Give us a sense of what's going on in your communities with your teams right now.
Yeah, it really is a moving target. You make plans. I was on the phone the other day with somebody, and as we were summing up the call, he was kind of summarizing it to me to make sure he understood it. And I said, well, that's based on the information I have right now, but it could have changed over the time since we've been on this call together. So, really fluid situation. Of course, us, there's a couple of other leagues in our boat, but we have two teams that are south of the border. So, we've got that issue to deal with as well. And then in our footprint, we've got two different public health units in Northwestern Ontario here as well. So lots of moving parts. We just moved in Thunder Bay, where we've got two teams based into orange on the scale of prevention for COVID, and that means that we go from 50 spectators in the stands to 0 spectators in the stands. Okay. We did get our games in this weekend under the 50 spectators, and now we're going to be into our Christmas break. So we're hoping that can change for us. But in Northwestern Ontario, which is the other health unit, they're still in yellow or caution stage, so we're still allowed 50 fans in the stands there.
You've got an interesting scenario because of the COVID restrictions. You've got to have a 14-day pause between opponents. So you guys have actually worked that into what you're calling competition windows. Tell us about that.
Yeah, basically, as we were getting ready to get going, the legislation in Ontario says that we can only have leagues consisting of a maximum of 50 participants. So in the scope of junior hockey, essentially that means you've got two teams that can play against each other, and that would have been the totality of our schedule. So the first opponent you meet, you're kind of joined at the hip. So we went back to the health unit, and they in turn went to the ministry in Ontario and said, well, can we switch opponents if we go through a reset period, we're referring to them here. And they came back and said, yes, it would be 14 days in between competition. But as long as we have that, then we can switch opponents. So, really it's going to be a series of starts and stops for us. It looks like from a timing standpoint, we're going to have 5-day windows in order to get our 4 games done, which in an ordinary schedule is going to mean, would be a pretty hectic workload for junior hockey players. But knowing that they're going to come off of a 14-day break and go into a 14-day break, they should be able to handle it all well. So it's just a matter of coordinating it so everybody stopped and started at the same times. Days of the week, which typically factor into a junior schedule, aren't going to be that big of a deal with 0 or 50 fans in the stands. So it's not quite critical that we get our rivalry matchups on a Saturday night, for instance, to take advantage of the crowd. So it's just some logistical stuff.
Yeah, we get that. In conversation with SIJHL Commissioner Darrin Nicholas, one of the great things about the CJHL is we get an opportunity to talk to graduates from the league who've then gone on to play at the next level. Your son, Nolan, played for 4 seasons in the CJHL before going on to the University of Alaska Anchorage, where he finished his senior year last season. What's it been like for you as a parent, having a son who went through that? So you've experienced that process and what can happen, and now in your position in leadership in the SIJHL, to be able to communicate that these opportunities are out there for kids right now.
Yeah, for sure. And really, my own background, I was a coach at the U Sport level for a decade here with Lakehead University in Thunder Bay. I've been a longtime minor hockey coach, so I sort of get to see it from both sides. And really, what I try and impress on a lot of families coming up is just the need for patience. And Nolan, played through his total eligibility in minor hockey. He was not an OHL draft pick. So he just needed a little bit more time to develop. So he exhausted his minor hockey eligibility, and then he went on to play his junior hockey, and just persevered and kept with it. And a lot of the the success stories like that are typically not the superstar players when they're 11, 12, 13 years old. It's more the guys that, love the game, love everything associated with the game, continue to want to improve. And if you can hang on long enough, then maybe the opportunity comes. So they're out there, but, most times people hear about the Connor McDavids, the 15-year-olds that are getting, exceptional status. And I mean, that is, true to the word. It's exceptional. The route that most players take, and certainly out of the CJHL, yes, you have your Cale Makars that come around once in a generation, but most players are committing to U.S. schools in their 20-year-old or their last season of eligibility in junior hockey. So it's a marathon as opposed to a sprint in most cases.
Darrin, there's a lot of parents, a lot of kids who are watching or listening to this right now and saying, yeah, but what about me? Because this is my year. This is my opportunity to go out and showcase what I can do and hopefully transition to the next level. What would you say to those parents or to those kids who are in that situation right now?
Yeah, it's a tough spot. And, I've talked to all the players in our league, and one of the things that I tried to impress upon them was, the fact that, my position, our team coaches, our team owners, I mean, we're going to be involved in junior hockey for an extended period of time here, but the window to compete and play junior hockey and try and catch a scout's eye only happens for a period of time. So that's really why we're pushing so hard to try and, number one, get our players on the ice in a competitive situation, and now keep them on the ice. For the players that don't have access to the game stuff, I think, there's lots of sources for direction, for coaching, certainly ice time available, keep doing that. A lot of the feedback that I've gotten and with my son's own journey into NCAA hockey is, you think a lot of these programs have, millions of scouts all over the place and unlimited budgets. And oftentimes it's, if you're interested in a program, be proactive with it as well. So don't be afraid to reach out to them, let them know you're interested, try and get some video out to them, some references and things like that. So it's probably going to take a little bit more proactivity than it ordinarily would, but the colleges and universities will still need players next year. They're still going to graduate players this year, and there will be spots opened up. It'd just be a little bit tougher to get in front of them, I think.
How are you personally holding up through all of this? I mean, it's one thing to have a leadership hat on to try to keep everybody else together, but that's also got to be very trying and very wearing on you.
At times it can be. I'm trying to be present in a lot of the rinks that we can. So, we played 2 games Friday, Saturday night here in Thunder Bay. We played Sunday afternoon in Fort Francis, and that's about a 4+ hour drive. So I, drove up in the morning, was at that rink for the game, came back in the evening. So, I knew that going in, it's probably going to be a 7-day-a-week job, certainly through the course of the season. A lot of it was alleviated, quite frankly, that, we made the decision early on that we weren't going to knock on the health unit's doors and ask for any exemptions at all. So I think that relieved a lot of the stress from the position, because, really we were just taking the wait and see approach, and when conditions persisted that would allow us to get our guys on the ice, then that's when we chose to act. So there really wasn't much decision making happening, while we were watching things unfold, I guess.
Darrin, we appreciate what you're doing. We appreciate you battling through this, trying to represent your kids and your team owners out there through a very difficult time. Thanks for this. We appreciate it, and good luck to you. And stay safe.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. Likewise to you as well.
That was SIJHL Commissioner Darrin Nicholas. And that wraps up this week's CJHL Report, the Canadian Junior Hockey League. Your future is here.